Hey, this is Scott Photography Bonsai. In this video, I'm going to talk about the Canon EF 135mm f2.8 soft focus lens. On my last outing for the cosplay photos, I really wanted something longer range but with a larger aperture. I do have the 55 to 200mm lens, but at around 135mm it's maybe f5.6 or so, and that's pretty slow. Considering the limited options in the EF M system for native glass, I wanted to get something in the EF mount. So they are full frame lenses, but I also did not have the adapter. I picked up a used adapter for around $100, so about half price. I really wanted the OEM one. Got that with the lens for a pretty low cost, and so far so good. I took it out to a local park just to shoot some nature photography as usual. The park I went to is good for telephoto lenses. There's a large looping path, good to use that compression of the long telephoto lens. Also, there was a Vietnam War memorial and a World War trench that a museum next to the park built that they use for reenactments. I managed to get out there with the leaves when they were nice and colorful for the most part, so that was a big benefit to the paths and the telephoto lens. I'm going to go over a few techniques and ways that I was taking photos at that park with that 135mm lens. I did try out the soft focus feature quite a few times. Not really sure how it can be properly used or effectively used. It is very unusual. There are two settings to it, and then you have a setting where it basically turns it off, which is the main reason I bought this lens. With some compression, using the large aperture, having the path curve or just going straight, really looks amazing. I like that look. I lucked out in one situation where there were two people walking down the path. Eventually I was able to take a photo as they kept going down that path. It looks really nice. I tried to get lower, that way as you're closer to the bottom of the photo, it really fills the frame with the path itself, and then it scales very nicely down into the photo, into the horizon. Using any type of object around the area is a good way to enhance photos. There are different benches. I tried to utilize those. With the nature side of things, there are so many different trees, so many different plants that you can isolate in the photo with that telephoto lens and large aperture, or with that I tend to naturally go for the thirds of the photo to put some type of subject in. Now that's really based on personal preference and your style, but it is good to mix things up. Sometimes even just a center framed photo with some isolation can look pretty interesting as well. With the Vietnam War memorial, it is challenging in that area to get photos. It's pretty cramped with a telephoto lens. Now I did get some photos of the large helicopter. It's basically a full helicopter with a flag attached to it. Did get a few photos that looked a little interesting. Even though I slipped on my butt in the trench area, I did get a few photos around there. Didn't stick around, but still an interesting spot to take photos. I think it would be better with a wider angle lens in that case. Now that I have the adapter for the EF lenses on the EF M camera, I'm definitely going to be looking at other lenses in that mount. Probably lower cost ones, maybe the 50 f1.8 eventually. It is a good option for the system. It adds a huge range of lenses, of course. With the autofocus of this lens, it's actually pretty loud. But when you're focusing for situations that are pretty close, you shoot something in one area and then the next subject is not too much of a distance change. It's very quick. It works really well. Maybe not as quick as the native lenses, but really not too bad. I don't think this lens is especially sharp even at the 0 setting. For most situations, I think it will be good enough. Of course, I would have liked the 135 f2, but that is a humongous price difference between those two lenses. Now this one is sufficient considering my budget and all of that. The first outing went pretty well. Definitely going to be trying this lens out in the future for portrait photography when I can make that happen. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing. It helps me out a lot. Likes and shares about a lot as well. Thanks again.